That God the creator. And who say the creator name is?
Jesus.
Alright. God what?
Almighty.
God
What is it?
created.
LOL.
Elohim.
There you go. It is the H-I-M on the end. But it's Elohim, right? Meaning God our creator. So we're still going to be looking at God Elohim. Oh, who can tell us what we learned last week in chapter 1, verse 1 and verse 2?
We learned that the God in there is Elohim.
True.
You did learn that.
That
You
the
did?
world was here, and that it was
Dark,
dark, and then when Lucifer, he threw him down here,
kicked out.
and so he was here, and God had a plan, everything that went on, he already knew. And so we're just fulfilling the prophecy,
Right.
everything he already knew.
It was
That was the shock.
Okay.
it was already in place. He came to restore it,
Okay.
to bring it back to what he originally planned it to be
Okay.
before Lucifer was let loose.
He continued to operate in the threes.
Mm-hmm. Because we look at, in the beginning, God created what? The heavens and the earth. And then, so something happened earth, because he said in verse 2, and the earth was without form and void. So therefore, the earth get to be put back
Into form.
into place. And that's what we're going to begin in chapter 1, verse 3. Right. But the earth was still intact, but the earth was without, heaven was still intact, but the earth, because Lucifer was kicked to the earth, right, and brought darkness. So that has to be replaced. All right, so we saw the,
So even before Adam and Eve was created, there was already darkness here. Before God reestablished earth.
right,
Oh, okay, so in the beginning, where he said there was the heavens and the earth,
mhm,
the earth became sinful with Lucifer before he redid it.
yes,
So he already knew that he was gonna deal with
Yes.
sin.
right.
Oh, okay.
Well, I got a question. There had to be a long time
Yes,
between the time that he formed everything except man in order for Lucifer to get here and get all that done. Is that
yeah, there's
correct?
I don't know what the time frame is, but it's a long time. Between verse 2 and verse 1 and verse 2, it could be millions of years. Yeah,
And that's us taking a day like a 24-hour day that we have now. We don't know what because when they say God created everything in 7 days, that's our
6.
interpretation. Well, it's 6 days and a 7 days.
right.
But what I'm saying is, if it was that long length of time,
Between 1 and 2?
right,
Mhm.
right,
Well, the Bible says a day for us is could be 1,000,000 years or something
right.
like that.
So his time is not our time.
Right. We're going to see in the creation, he's going to put time in.
Right.
Because that's why he's going to make day and night. Because now he's putting time in earth. We don't know too much about what time was before, because he doesn't give us that much. It's just, I created and without form and void. So we don't really have any details, or all we know, Lucifer kicked out, and so earth was, he had to reconstruct earth. Okay. So we saw the construction in verse 1, where he created everything, okay? And then we had to see the convulsion of earth. So convulsion means that something happened, like people have a convulsion, they're shaking, so earth was shaking. It was, drastically destruction. Like an earth, like Dorian went over the Bahamas. There's nothing compared to what earth was after it became void, after his creation, right? So therefore in verse 3, he's going to have to construct it again, reconstruct it again. But everything is matter and everything is still here. He just bring it back through his word. You don't have to create anymore. But he will when we get to it, okay? So we're going to see how in 6 days. So we look at Exodus 20. Let's go to Exodus 20 before we get into verse 3. Good to see you, CJ. Exodus 20. Because you could think
20 and what?
11. And I haven't had time to study this. Because I know dinosaurs were not on the earth the same time man was.
Right.
So when you see pictures of dinosaurs and that man, that's fake because dinosaurs were gone before man even appeared on earth. So we don't know what that world was before. The dinosaurs, they see fossils of dinosaurs, but we know they were here before man even got to earth. Okay, so.
And they're finding things now under the sea. They're finding mountains under the sea. You know, so
Yeah.
a lot of things that the what do you call them, archaeologists and scientists are finding now. We don't know how
We
many
don't know, right.
thousands of
Right.
millions of years old it is, you know, but they're just finding it now.
Yep, mountains and cities.
Mm-hmm. So,
The fossils and things that were
Mhm.
here even before we got on earth. All right, we see in Exodus 20 and 11, it says what? For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth. Okay? So notice we're not using the word create. He made it, okay? Because the creation was already there. He had to make it, put it back. The sea and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and what? Hallowed it. So God is taking that which is already formed, and in these 6 days, He's not creating it again. He is recreating or restoring, okay? Remaking, what you want to use, okay? So He is working there by speaking it. He's working with matter that already exists. Okay? All right. So God created life and put it on earth. And then for the earth, He created man. Because everything was created, life, seed, everything was created on earth. So earth was here, and then He created man. So therefore, man was created for the earth. Okay? For the earth, He created man. All right, let's look at verse 3. We're going to read 3, 4, and 5. And God said, let there be. And we can see just in the creation 10 times in this chapter you're going to hear what? Let there be. So He said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, and it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So therefore, when I see that He made light, and He called the light day, and the darkness He called night, I see that's where we get, what, 24 hours in time. Okay? Day and night. And then you notice God said, let there be. Okay? Let there be what? Light. And there was light. And because He says about 10 times, I thought of those could be the 10 commandments of creation. Let there be. And we can see here, just in Genesis, the first time we hear God speak. God said what? Let there be light. These are His first words recorded in Scripture where God is speaking. Let there be. 6. And God said, let's go back to that. And the evening and the morning. So, were day one. So therefore, they started day when? In the
The
evening.
evening.
So evening, let's say 6 o'clock. So in the evening and the morning was day one.
Yeah.
So from 6 in the evening to 6 in the morning.
Was 12 hours.
was
Right,
12
and then
hours.
6 even at night. Like right now, it's Thursday.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Cause it's 6 o'clock, we started Thursday.
mhm.
And it would be Thursday until 6
6 o'clock to 6
evening.
o'clock
5:59 tomorrow evening.
Yes,
Right, that's
Oh,
right.
that's the 20, right.
Okay.
Now, the Jewish day and calendar works on that.
Evenings.
Yeah. Tomorrow, Thursday started at 6
6
p.m.
o'clock.
tonight. And it ends at 5:59 tomorrow. 6 o'clock tomorrow evening starts Friday.
Right.
And that's what confused a lot of people about Jesus being in the tomb for 3 days. Because they're looking at if he went in on Friday, no way Sunday would have been the third day. But
Thursday.
the Jewish calendar, Friday started on that third, or what we figure on Thursday evening at 6 p.m. So then Friday at 6 p.m. started the second day. Saturday started, that Saturday evening at 6 started the third day, and he rose that Sunday morning.
Well, it makes sense if it was dark
Mhm.
prior to him creating
Mhm.
the light, that the evening would be. That
Because
the
it's
day
dark,
would
we
begin
start
in
the
the
day.
dark.
Right.
It's
Right.
dark
It's just-
when we start
Right.
tonight.
It's dark too?
Right.
Mhm.
Well,
Was it midnight?
I was-
But it's
Midnight.
still sitting.
Yeah, because it was dark, so
Still
if
right.
he started the calendar, then if it was dark before then, once he started, it was evening
Mhm.
before the first day counted.
Mhm. Yeah. So the evening and morning, so we look at evening and morning was day one, right? Now, so day one, he made what?
Light.
Light. Day one, he made light. Right. Day two. And God said, let there be what? A firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the water from the waters.
Mhm.
So therefore, we look at firmament as being what? Air.
Mhm.
It's just airspace, firmaments, okay? Let's divide the waters from the waters, okay? What does that mean? He had to divide the waters horizontally, okay? To separate water
from
above
land.
and
From land.
from the water on land, right? He had to divide it. So there is water.
Mhm.
In the
And the
atmosphere.
clouds,
Yeah.
yeah, the
So
clouds
that's why
hold
we
it.
have to do. Is that why we had to do?
Do?
Right?
Yes, because even though water's up there and water's down here, we still get water all around us.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, but we don't see it because it's water vapor. But if you, like you have a glass of water, and then it's set there, ice water,
You'll see the.
you'll
one
see
on
the
the
water
side.
droplets on the glass.
Mhm.
The glass not leaking, so what happens, there's water vapor in the air.
Mhm.
So when the temperature differs from the ice water and the warm air, that vapor that we don't see turns to a liquid around that glass because the temperatures are different. Okay? And that's what that's the water, but it's in liquid form now. That's what dew is. Dew is all over. Water is all around us, but it's in a gas form.
Mhm.
But when the temperatures are such difference at night, we wake up, that gas has turned to a liquid. The water vapor has turned to a liquid. That's why it's wet.
Mhm.
Because
It's
even
just-
as hot as it is,
Mhm.
have been this summer,
Mm-hmm.
when you go out in the morning, the grass is still wet.
Wet.
Mhm.
I mean, even the
Correct.
temperature hadn't dropped that
Mhm.
much. Because there was a couple times we went out to walk to the shed, and the grass was
It's
wet.
been wet a lot this
Mhm.
summer, the temperatures, right?
Been wet a lot this summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the mommy's mowing grass. I gotta wait till this grass dry. You can put
Mhm.
my lawnmower because it's been extremely wet. So we do have the water. So therefore, he had to divide the water. So then the water covered, everything. So when he spoke, he had to divide the water in the atmosphere, in the air spaces. So we get water above, water beneath. Because we look up in the sky, what color is it?
Blue.
Blue. A lot of times we still say water in the ocean is what? Blue, supposedly, but sometimes it's grayish, muddish, greenish, whatever, but it's a blue. All kind of colors. All right. And God made the firmament and divided the waters, which were what? Under the firmament, under the air, under there, from the waters which were above. So then at the sky and then the earth, the oceans and all that, the water, he divided the waters. And there's still water underneath too. That's how you dig wells. You get water there, you know, so it's still under as well. Okay. All right. And God called the what? Firmament heaven. So when we look up the firmament, we see heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. Okay. Now we're talking about here, and God called the firmament heaven. This is not the heaven that you and I think of. We're talking about going to heaven. That's not what he's talking about. I think here he is speaking more of heavens where the clouds are, because we're dealing with the water. So where the clouds are and where the birds fly and all of that, that is the first heaven. Because heaven is divided into three parts. So the atmosphere itself is the first heaven. We have clouds, we have birds flying, we have airplanes flying. We have all the atmospheres, all this first heaven, whether it's the troposphere where weather takes place, or the stratosphere where airplanes fly, usually above the cloud. They have gone to another sphere, so they're above the cloud. You have all these other spheres. So first heaven deals with all the atmosphere around Earth. But then if you're on a rocket and you go out of the atmosphere, you go into space, where your stars are. That's your second heaven. Where there's no gravity, no nothing. Once you get past all this gravity, all these spheres, you go into outer space. That's beyond the exonosphere. Outer space is second heaven. You would find the stars, the galaxies, and all those things. And then we know what? The third heaven. That's where God dwells. And no one, well, John talks about the third heaven. Paul talks about that third heaven. That's where God dwells.
Because it's funny when you say that, when you flying and you look out the window, it looks like water. When you look at, and after you get so high, the clouds are just blue. When we was flying I was flying to New York one time, and I was amazed, because I thought we were closer where you could see, hadn't gotten up high enough, because it looked like
blue
oceans. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, you got above.
You got above. At first it was white.
Yeah.
Then when you got above, it remained blue the rest of the flight until we got ready to come down. Yeah.
It's amazing. You get ready to come down like it's a storm. The clouds feel like mountains, because some of them are dark gray, and the plane going through the cloud, you can see like mountains. I was like, ooh, these are clouds, but they just look like mountains in the cloud.
It really does look, when you get above the atmosphere in a plane, it really does look like Earth. It looks like a different Earth up in the sky. I mean, you can actually see figures that look like mountains and water. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's probably where the turbulence come from as well.
Yes, that's your turbulence.
It's shaking. It's just a non-solid turbulence, but when you're talking about, it's shaking the planes and stuff like that, because it's hitting.
Going through the
Going to the clouds.
That cloud, that vapor that's up there.
There's water, there's matter there. All right, so first day was what? Second day is firmament, which is the air. Very good. Let's look at 9 and 10. And God said, let the waters under the earth be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called what? Seas. And God saw that it was good. Okay? So we see here now that he's separated vertically, horizontally, You're always kind of separating it, vertically. I can get the water over here and the land over here. Okay? So it's separating the water from beneath. Okay? So now the water is separated from the land and from the earth. All right. And God called the dry land earth. Right. So now, because at one point, it was inhabitable. So we can see now how God is making earth so it can be habitable again. Okay. Because it's earth, so he's preparing it for man, for life, to survive in it. Okay. So it is separating. Okay. And that's the same thing when Jesus comes. We all here together, but there will be a separation between sheep and goat. Right? There will be separation. There's separation now between good and evil. There's a separation, and we know that. Okay, what's bad and what's good, what's evil, right? We know that, and God, there will be a separation coming at judgment. Okay.
We gonna be in that good part.
Yeah. And we know that man, so we had to separate that, because I said we prepare for man, because man is not a water creature. We need to be on dry land. We got lungs, so we are not water creatures. So he's preparing, and separating things in order.
But, yeah, when you look at the beach, sometimes you can really see that separation, because there's nothing that stops that water,
Right.
except it has to be the power of God. I mean, because even when there's no high tides or anything, that water's only going to come in so far, and it's going to stop. But it's amazing, I love to go to the beach and in the morning, first thing, wake up and sit out there, and when it's still dusk dark, and where the waters are blue, at night the waves are white. And you just see them billowing in, and you have to, again, I always remember what Pastor said, I don't care who you are, atheist or whatever, you gotta know somewhere in your heart that there's a God, because what would happen if he had not separated?
Right.
All of that mass of water out there.
75%.
Yes, it's water. And you watching it come in, and it's only gonna go so far.
Yeah.
It's
And
not
of course-
going no farther.
Where's the one that was, someone had on Facebook a long time ago, with the ocean and fresh water, something you can see the waters, and even though they're two waters, but they're different. They don't pass each other. I thought it was so amazing. And it's a dividing line right there between the ocean and something else. And it was just so beautiful, because the water was not going to cross each other.
It won't. And it's,
There's something like this salt water, something, but it's like a straight line, and it never, it mixed. And they're both waters, but they never mixed. There was some picture I saw on Facebook. I was like, I think Miss Forney sent it or something else. So you can just see God there.
you can.
Gosh.
I mean, you like, wow. Yeah.
All right, we're still in day 3. It said, and God said, let the earth bring forth grass and herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, keyword, whose seed is in what? Itself upon the earth, and it was. See? So now God is putting plant life, correct? Because what? Of man. Because everything here is what? Vegetarian. Because that's the only thing man ate was vegetarians until the flood. And things changed after the flood. But in the beginning, it was only plant life, and man only ate. It was a vegetarian.
No meat.
No, fruit. Okay. Maybe fruit and maybe nuts. Because them trees produce nuts. Sometimes I think proteins,
Yeah,
But it was trees. I think maybe fruits and nuts.
Fruits
Yeah.
and nuts.
And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after its kind. And God said that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the 3rd day. So what was made on the 3rd day?
herbs. and
Vegetation.
plants.
Vegetation, right, life, plant life
Plant
and dry land, right, dry land and plant life. All right, dry land and plant life. All right, verse 14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night. Then we get back, this kind of like the other verse, but then we get different, what you call them? Different, what you call these, all these things in the sky, different, can't think of the word. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Okay? So here, God didn't create the sun and the moon at this time. They were already there. So God just brought them around another position, another order. It was already there. So he just kind of, I think, put it in another order. Okay? And move them around into position. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light unto the earth as it was. Okay? So at first we had the day and night, light and darkness. Now we say get these for what? The
The
seasons
signs of the season.
and for days. Okay? So the moon and the sun and the stars. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule by day, rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. When I looked at that, he made the stars also, kind of like a little, oh yeah, he did the stars too. But the stars are more gigantic than the sun and the moon. So I said, I kind of stuck that in, oh yeah, he did it. But then you just like, wow, they're bigger. Because, you know, the sun is just a star, and it's a medium-sized star. It's a small star compared to these stars out there. You have gigantic stars out there. But the sun is not really a big star, it's a medium-sized star. It just looked like that because it's closer to Earth. That's all, but it really is a small, medium star. Right, but he made all those billions and billions of stars. Who can tell us what galaxy we live in?
Is it the third?
Galaxy.
Oh, galaxy.
Milky Way, yeah. Well, we live in the Milky Way galaxy.
It's
Yes,
been so long.
right. We had a long time. Go back to high
Elementary.
school,
wow.
middle school. Right. So we live in the Milky Way galaxy. So that means all the the stars, the planets, all is within that galaxy. You know, there could be other galaxies, you know, somewhere we don't know. We are in this galaxy. And this galaxy consists of all the planets, the sun. Yeah, this is all in the galaxy. Those billions and billions of stars that make up this galaxy.
Well, we know of how many planets in this galaxy? Not
Eight. It was 9. We know stars are always changing. So they're now saying Pluto is not a planet anymore. It is a dwarf planet.
I didn't know that.
Thank you. And now it's 8.
I didn't know that.
It's too far away or something, so it's not a planet. It's a dwarf.
What
But I'll
is
tell
that
you what it
supposed
was
to
like.
mean?
Huh?
It still exists, and
Right.
it's a dwarf.
Right.
Right.
It still is here.
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
Right.
Right. It's been planted all these years.
I don't care how small it is.
All
It's
these
still a
thousands.
planet.
All these thousands of years, Pluto was a planet. But now
It's
the
a
new
dwarf.
book.
It's a dwarf.
It's a
It's a
dwarf.
midget.
It's a
So are they trying to say midget on people?
right.
I mean, that's the same
Yeah.
logic.
Sound like
I
that.
mean, this changed, you know. It changes.
They don't need to say that.
You have 8 planets now because it's dwarf. Pluto is not really a planet. Okay. All right. And verse 17, God said, let the firmaments of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And it was God doing all this dividing. Okay. He divided light from darkness. And he still does that today. He's still dividing. All right. So that was the 4th day, it said, and the evening and the morning were the 4th day. So what was made on the 4th day?
Light.
What gave us light?
The
Sun,
Sun,
moon, and stars. Right, all right. So the 4th
The
day,
galaxy.
sun, moon, stars, galaxy, right. That's the 4th day. Now we get into the 5th day. verse 20 and 21 and 22 and 23. Okay, all right. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the what? Moving creatures that have life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. Okay. So we see
That's where the fish came.
mhm,
The animals.
the animals. So now in day 5, he's going to do animal life. And I like that. And God said the water bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that have life. The fowl that may fly above, right? Animal life. And God created what? Great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the water brought forth abundantly. After what? Their kind. And every winged fowl after his kind. So we're looking at what back to what phylum. This means animal life, and phylum means what? A descendant of its kind. So it's not going to make something else. No amoebas and no monkeys and no.
Maybe they did
Yeah, we are made after its
that. Maybe
kind.
they did that, mixed it up and stuff.
Mhm.
Not God.
Birds after its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters and the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. Okay. So, they were to what? Bring forth after its kind. Okay. This is also true with mankind. Bring forth after your kind. So there's no stork bringing something in. There's no amoeba forming and becoming something else other than an amoeba. It's not going to come and produce an animal. It's after its kind. And the
Well,
evening and the morning
that-
for the 5th day.
That does away with evolution.
Absolutely.
But that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
If you thought, do you think that if man hadn't tried to play God and mix different animals, different whatever, I wonder if this world would look much different than it is now. Like, would there be certain animals that exist today if they had let, you know, because some of the breeds now come out of,
Crossbreeding.
interbreeding and mixing up stuff. Some of the currently existing, whether it be dogs or wolves
Mhm.
or whatever.
Donkeys,
Because they are
mules.
coming from the unnatural
Right.
Breeding.
breeding
Exactly.
that man put in place.
Right. Because he's telling them, right, to bring forth.
Right.
So therefore, put in
Their
reproduction.
own
Man
seed.
should have been messing with cloning and
Right.
crossbreeding,
Right.
right? Because they want to bring forth after their kind, right? Right, because he put man under, we're gonna talk about that a little bit later on, right? What man has done, he told them to do the earth, but they are subduing the earth totally on the negative side.
Because even the animals knew to not mate with
Right,
somebody
and
that
separate.
wasn't. And that's
Their
the
kind,
part,
right.
yeah, that wasn't their kind. You didn't
Right.
see no two female fish because they can't produce nothing.
Right.
You know, but then we the humans, they got sense and we wanna put two men together, you ain't gonna make nothing
Right.
but trouble.
Right. Trouble, absolutely. All right, so on the 5th day was what? Animal life.
Animal life.
5th day was animal life. Now we're going into 6th day. This is the 6th day. And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creatures after his kind, cattle and creeping things and beasts of the earth after his kind, and it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God said it was good. Okay? And note how he keep expressing what? After his kind. After a biological phylum.
Yeah. And you know, and that's the part that where scientists and all these talk shows come and try to say that when these young men come out and they're gay, I was born that way.
Mhm.
Scripture show that's not so,
Right.
because he didn't create anything that was not supposed to be that way.
Right.
You know, so, you know, and you even have a
Mhm.
lot of these supposedly Christian counselors that say that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were just born like that. No,
Right.
he didn't make no mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
That was the reason for coming in and recreating the earth, because the mistake had came from heaven, which was Lucifer. So he had to come in and re-establish all of that.
Mhm.
So ain't nobody made, God ain't created no male to be a woman and say he was born that way.
Mhm.
It's just not so.
Well, it also states in the Bible that's part of the reason why he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah,
Yeah.
because of the unnatural mating.
Yes.
So, I mean, it spells out quite clearly
Very clever.
that he did not accept that lifestyle.
Yeah, that is just lust of the flesh.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, one of the three sins with the lust of the eye, lust of the flesh, pride of life. Yeah, that's just the lust of the flesh. All right, now we get verse 26. So on the sixth day he made what?
Man.
Okay, yeah, we're getting into, right, man, because we get into man, the fertility, I guess you would say, of animal life, which would be man. All right, all right.
The beast
So he said, and God said, let us make man. Who's he talking to? Let us. The Trinity, all right.
Father, God, Holy Spirit.
Father, God, and Holy Spirit, right, the Trinity. Because let us make man, so us, man will be us too, because it's the three. We're going to be like them, all right, good. Let us make man what? In our image, after our likeness, okay? So what does it mean after our image? After our likeness, okay? And we're going to get more into this in chapter 2. It kind of opens up a little bit, but chapter 2 really tells us how it is done, and I'm sure you know that. Mhm.
Is he speaking more along attributes, not necessarily a physical hour like we look in a mirror?
Right. God, we should not make pictures of God, because God does not look like us.
Right.
No, he does not have two eyes and nose and ears. He could, he wanted to appear that way, but like him, we are a spirit being. He breathed into us all that he is, so we take on the likeness of Christ, the character, the personality, right? Not that he looks like us. No.
Because most of the other sermons and so forth that I've heard speak of a physical image.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They don't speak of the spirit and that type of thing. This breakdown. is
We
good.
look like him
Right.
because of the breath of him.
Right.
That's it. And what the breath of him is in that, that's what we look like it. And this, in this likeness, in this image. Not image of a face.
Right.
No. Right.
And that's what everybody is hearing,
Mm-hmm.
is the physical.
This fits right. Because and pictures, you know, that's what you see in pictures. There's some having with dreadlocks, what they think they look like an African American. Some having with blonde hair, what they think they look like a European. No, it's none of that. He's a spirit, and we are like him because of the breath of him. Right. Right. And then when God made them, what, and let them have what, dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Okay? So we can see here that Adam had tremendous authority over everything.
Yes.
I believe Adam had authority over the weather. When Jesus had authority over the weather, Adam was made in his image like him. So Adam, at
Had
that
the
time,
power.
having dominion, he had the power
Had the power.
to control weather. Yes.
Christ.
Mm-hmm. Right. The second Adam. Right. That was Adam. He had it. Dominion. Okay.
Anything that was
Created.
Created. he had
He had dominion, and he had dominion over,
Except
control,
that tree.
authority over it.
except that one tree.
His weakness, right?
We-
All right? So when we look at that, and all of us come from Adam. The human race come from Adam.
Mhm.
So Adam is our great grandfather. And that's when we get what? The human race. So the whole world is really related,
To
Mhm.
Adam.
okay, to Adam.
Mhm.
Now we come to know Christ, then we become brothers and sisters in Christ, that's different, but the whole human race is related from Adam.
He the first.
Mhm. Right. From Adam and Eve, absolutely. Okay. So he had tremendous power. We think of Adam in the garden. He was not just someone to cut grass, you know, in the garden. No, he had dominion over that, okay, over the earth. So he was more than, you know, just a
More than-
glorified gardener, no. And God, and now look at this. Everything else was spoken back into existence. But look what word comes back up again in verse 27.
So God created.
Created.
Man
You go
in his
back.
own- Go back to
Go
creation.
back to creation.
The other.
When man and other was spoken back into,
Mm-hmm.
right, because man was not here, so therefore he goes back to, he's always, you know, Elohim, because all this is creation, but he goes back to the Greek word barak, to create, where there was nothing. So therefore, and God created man to create out of nothing. Now look at that, create out of nothing. Out of nothing physically, but it was in God's mind. He always had that plan.
Plan.
So I'm kind of weird about create out of nothing, because he had it here. He had something, he had a plan. Okay? 'Cause God never did anything without a plan. It was always in here. Okay? I think sometimes problem with us, we do stuff and ain't got no plan.
Yep.
We just start doing stuff. And that's created something out of nothing. But God always had a plan. Mhm. So that creation, it was there. So I kind of, you know, really use that out of nothing. Because God, he always had a plan. Okay. So in that creation, it was something what? It was something new to create man. And God has always had that plan, is to create man. And then he said man is to be like God. Again, we think of the Trinity. It was physically, mentally, spiritually. Okay? Body, spirit, soul, in the image of us. And again, chapter 2 really gets into that more. Okay? So God always created. And then with woman, the creation. He created what? Male and female.
Yeah.
So Adam directly, Eve more indirectly.
Mhm.
You know? Because he can't, right, so that's more like indirectly.
Yeah,
But
'cause
they
he
were
came, took it out.
Right.
He didn't do it himself. He took the rib
Right.
and created her.
Just like indirectly when we're eating, okay? How do you put that? You're eating indirectly, like grass, okay? The cow eat the grass. We don't eat the grass directly, but somehow indirectly it's getting in us because
Because
the
of
cow has eaten it. We got it indirectly, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with that, Adam was here, so the rib was indirectly came from, you know, something. Food chain, all right. Right. All right, again, we're going to go into the second chapter. All right. And 28, what my time look like?
5 to 8.
All right. 28 said, and God what? Blessed them, and God said to them what? Be fruitful and multiply, and what? Replenish. What this re means? To do again. So therefore we know there had to be.
Had to be something already here.
Right. To replenish the earth and subdue it. And have what? Dominion over fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth. Okay? So we can see how God has given man the ability to what? Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, have dominion.
And it kind of take you back to, like you say, the flood, which we'll get to that. When he destroyed the earth, he put two of every kind, male and female, so that, again, the earth would be replenished.
Right,
You know, so it, you know, you can't help but know he intended
for that to be,
for it to be a
Mhm.
earth where human beings and living
Right.
creatures were
Mhm.
on this earth.
right,
I mean, because if that had been the case, he would have just spared Noah and his family.
right.
But he also wanted the animals
The land.
and everything to be replenished.
Mhm. And as we said, be fruitful, multiply. So he made a way for reproduction
Mhm.
to take place, okay? Because there are four methods that God has used to get mankind into earth, into this universe, okay? One was what? Direct creation.
Mhm.
One way to get man to this earth that he had made for man. One was direct creation, which was what? Adam.
Adam.
Okay? The second was what? Indirect creation, which was
Eve.
Eve. Okay? The third was what? The virgin birth
Earth of Jesus.
of Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
And the fourth one is the natural generation, what we do today.
Okay.
Okay? To reproduce, to get man back.
Mhm.
People on this earth, okay? And it's amazing that, so here we see how God himself established sex,
Mhm.
a way to reproduce. And it's supposed to be a
Beautiful
beautiful
thing.
thing. When husband and wife come together, that is a beautiful thing, okay? God never intended for it to become on the level that it is today.
Right.
People use it, dirt and filth, filthy books, filthy movies, and it was never intended to be degraded like that. But what does Satan does? Everything that God made that's good,
He
he
turned it ugly.
he want to turn it ugly.
He want to turn it ugly.
Okay, so it's supposed to now people be ashamed and they but no, when husband and wife come together, that's a beautiful, intimate moment, and God intended for it to be. Okay, but now they just have destroyed it. For it
And it's more destroyed because it comes together out of order.
Yes, it's totally.
And that's the
yes.
thing is that
Mhm.
people don't realize when it's out of order, it can't be good.
Right.
You know,
It's
so,
out of right.
you know, because now
Mm-hmm.
they quick to live together before they marry. So when they get married, they got nothing to look forward to. You know, the way God created
Mhm.
is the woman was supposed to abstain and stay a virgin until she got with her husband. That's where the beauty of it
Mhm.
came in. You looked forward to your honeymoon night.
Yeah.
Now, you don't look forward to that because you
Mhm.
already had that. So it's nothing new.
Right. It's true.
You know, and then, you
Mhm.
know, then you got it where, like you said, they got the pornography where they bring it into the marriage.
Mhm.
You know, they looking at this and then they want to do all this stuff that is inhumane.
Right.
They want to do you like the animals, the way God created the animals to make. It ain't so, it's out of order.
It's true.
And
do
you
it,
know,
right.
I mean, they even got to the point that that is their identification. Sex is their identification of love.
Mm-hmm. Right. Which
Out
is
of
right.
order.
No, it's not.
Out of order.
Or mama,
Right.
or mama to brothers or sisters.
Mm.
Or mama to brothers and sisters.
Then he said, God tells man to do what? Subdue. What does subdue mean? Subdue, we get knowledge. Come, you know, to subdue the earth, okay? The learning,
Learn it, study.
you know, study. And I think even with man here, because it's like subdue it, you need to grab hold of it,
Grab it.
eat it, digest it, learn, get knowledge, get wisdom. But what man has done, they are subduing it, but they are getting knowledge that is away from God.
They're getting worldly now.
Worldly knowledge. That's why they're making atomic bombs and cloning. That's not what that meant, you know. They're getting knowledge, but it's knowledge of destruction, knowledge of evil. Okay? And the scripture even tell us they become what? Weaker and wiser. They are wise in their cunning, wise in their deception, wise in making atomic bombs and atom bombs, you know? But he wanted us to subdue, to get the meat of the word. It's like a diamond. You know, you have to search for diamonds found in the ground. You
In
had to
the ground,
search, you
you
had to
had to
dig.
dig.
You had treasures, and that's what he wanted us to subdue. You have to dig the scriptures, study the scriptures, you know, get knowledge. But man is getting all this, they're subduing again in the wrong way. Okay? They're reproducing in the wrong, you know. They just turn it around, okay? But God's still going to. Then it said, God have dominion. God instruction to man. Okay? Man was to rule this earth. Like I said, he could control. He had control over nature. He had control, right? But he lost it. At the fall, he lost that dominion. In 29, and God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. It shall be for food. Vegetarian at first. Okay? And it's the same thing, that same tree that we're going to talk about, I think we'll get to later on in this Genesis, is the same tree in Revelation. It's the same tree. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. Okay? And God said everything that he had made, and behold, it was what? Very good. And the evening and the morning was the what? Sixth day.
Up until then, he had just said everything was good.
Uh-huh.
Now it's very good.
Everything is finished. Everything is in order. Man is on order. He made, okay, earth. Made man for the earth. To take care of it. To
6
subdue it.
days.
To multiply. 6 days. Man was made on what? The sixth
Sixth
day.
Day.
The number for man is what?
6.
Six.
Okay. On the 6th day. That's why God made everything. He was preparing it from the beginning for man. Okay. He made the earth for man. Because he couldn't make man first, because man probably won't take credit for everything.
Probably.
So let me get everything
Everything else
back.
out the way, so man can't be boasting.
Mess it up.
Yeah, you can't get
The
the
man last,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
A man would have taken credit for it.
He do look right.
Yeah.
And I haven't read it, but it said God is mentioned here in Genesis, just in chapter 1, 32.
Wow.
I was thinking number 7 was Jesus' day, and number 6 was the devil's day.
Mm-mm. Well, they used the 666.
Yeah.
Right, right.
That's
Well,
the number
that's
of a
that's the
man.
number of, right. Mhm.
Amen.
Right. Yeah, they used it because they're of evil. Yeah, because 6 is the number for man. And what evil, 666, yeah.
So none of this seedless stuff that's out here is pure from God.
No.
These seedless watermelons.
You're right.
and-
One of them
and-
made-
That's
It's
just
not
man.
that good.
Again,
It's
a
not
false
good.
stuff.
Man conjured up.
That's
Yeah.
I
man.
don't even
That's
buy
to do it.
seeds.
They learn all.
They learn, I mean, because
Oh,
they
they
even
buy
got
it.
seedless cucumbers, you know,
I don't
yeah.
even buy it.
And there should be a seed in every,
And that's right.
in every
Yeah.
fruit,
That's
and
right.
every vegetable.
And that's what makes a fruit. It has a seed.
It has a seed,
That's seed.
because you can't get a fruit without a
A
seed.
seed. Yeah, it has to have a seed.
And that's just like with our salvation, you don't get salvation until a seed is planted. The seed is the word of God, you know, so that's,
The seed.
it's about the seed.
How can they make something like that without a seed?
Genetics,
Ain't natural.
it's not natural,
Yeah, unnatural.
unnatural.
Yeah.
Anything that's genetic, synthetic, and all that.
In
They test in labs,
the lab, yeah.
like neighbor oranges, no seed.
Right.
They
Yeah.
want.
It ain't natural.
Ain't that
It's
something?
not natural.
Right.
Not
And I think it's part of what's wrong with our
the health.
bodies.
Yeah,
Yep.
Food that
Yeah.
we eat is not, it's so many
Yeah.
preservatives and synthetics and genetics and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It just was, we're not eating that. He
Yeah.
made what we should
Even
eat. And we
with-
eating all preservatives and all, yeah.
What
Yeah.
they fertilize the vegetables.
and they put additives in to make the food, to make it go
Preserve.
longer,
Yeah,
To last
and to
long.
make more,
yeah,
so they can make more money. I mean, you know,
Yep.
it's a money thing.
yeah.
Well, all,
You're
and
right.
he had created all,
I didn't know that.
they got dust for like fruit and vegetables for it won't spoil.
Yeah.
Keep it from last.
Preserve
It's
it.
killing us.
I
That's
just
what-
know it. This lady came in the store, she was like, I can't remember the name of it, but I know exactly how it looked, cause I had to show it to her. She was like, do you got this, type of soy sauce stuff you put on your fruit for it won't spoil? You know, I got these apples in the picture I had for a while, and I just wanna put it on there for it won't spoil. Well, I ain't never heard of that.
Right.
It's like, you go down there on aisle 12, right there on the top shelf, and I was like, well, you talk about this? Yeah, I'm talking about this right here. Even gonna, it make your it tastes like, you don't even taste it. That was she was like, you don't even taste it. It just tastes like regular. You won't even see no brown stuff or nothing of that.
Yeah, that's,
I
that,
ain't never even seen that.
that's, we used to use that when I worked in food service. If you had sliced apples or something like that, you put it on there and it would keep the apples from browning. But you know, if you cut an apple and you leave it out in the air, it will brown. But you could toss that stuff in there and
Protective.
it would keep it from browning. And potatoes, you put it on white potatoes. Mhm.
Wow.
It's the same with,
That's probably
Yeah, it is.
stuff.
They got
But all at the same time, it's not good for your
and it's,
body.
right, that's why white bread is not good for you. You know how long white bread lays on a shelf?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this bread should have been molded by now. I mean, about 2 months.
It got like
Yeah, what they
Bleach, they
bleach, they
bleach.
bleach
It got bleach in it.
they bleach
That bread ain't molded. And it's
White bread.
White bread.
white bread.
That's what turns the color.
It doesn't mold. I was like, it get hard before it molds.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But then you look in the store and they have the